To the people, Klay.
Get the new jersey. Get the new jersey.
7th best player of all time, baby.
New jersey alert.
I'm really starting to feel like Klay Thompson has become one of the most underappreciated NBA players ever. I know the past few years he's been dealing with injuries, and the last time we actually saw him play, he played like trash. Like actually trash. But man, when people have these conversations about all-time shooting guards and all-time players, Klay Thompson never really comes up. Obviously, he's not a top 10 or a top 25 player, but come on NBA, the man's not a top 75 player ever. The NBA made a top 75 list and left Klay Thompson off. Has Klay Thompson really gotten underrated by NBA fans, or is he really just not like that? Let's talk about it. So let's just first start with his resume and what kind of player we are talking about here. Klay Thompson is a 4-time champion and holds the NBA record for the most threes made in a game with 14. The man is a straight bucket and easily a top 5 or possibly a top 3 3-point shooter ever. So why do I think Klay Thompson has been getting disrespected recently? Like I said earlier, after he got injured, he hasn't really been the same. He was away from basketball for almost 1,000 days total. That does something to a player. And it took him a while to get back to himself. But this did not stop him from helping the Warriors get another championship. Klay was a part of all 4 Warriors championships, and honestly, he rarely gets the credit he deserves for this. And the reason why is a little thing I like to call the Scottie Pippen effect. Scottie Pippen may just be the most notorious example of the sidekick ever. Scottie Pippen was one of the best players in the NBA, and everybody knows that Michael Jordan wouldn't have won without him. But come on, it's Michael Jordan. It was always Michael Jordan and the rest of the Chicago Bulls. And as great as Scottie was, that's what his legacy is going to be forever. And unfortunately for Klay, the same thing's going to happen to him. Steph Curry is already an all-time great and a top 10 player ever in most people's eyes. Despite him only having 1 Finals MVP, Steph Curry is the reason for every Warriors championship. When you think about Golden State, you're thinking of Steph Curry. The whole Splash Brothers dynamic definitely helps Klay out, but no matter what, Klay is going to be stuck with the label as Curry's sidekick forever. And we've seen how this affected Scottie over the past 20 years. This dude has came out and said that Michael Jordan was a terrible teammate, he called him selfish, he said that he wouldn't have won without him, and he said LeBron's the GOAT. Like, Scottie has been hurting since those championships. And some people wouldn't even put Klay on the same level as Scottie Pippen. But they are not as far apart as you might think. The only reason I bring this up is because they're in 2 very similar situations. A lot of people might disagree with this, but I truly believe if Klay Thompson was not teamed up with Steph Curry and he had to be the star player on a winning team, I think he could. I don't know if he'd be able to be a Finals MVP like Steph Curry or anything, but if you put a prime Klay Thompson in a lot of other star players' shoes, you would see how great he actually is. Another part of this that people don't want to talk about is how lucky Steph Curry was to have people like Klay Thompson and the type of team he was drafted to. Curry was put into a system coached by one of the best 3-point shooters ever in Steve Kerr and was surrounded by shooters like Klay Thompson. Don't get me wrong, that team would not be what it is without Steph Curry, but if he was drafted to a team like the Knicks with Carmelo Anthony and he had to compromise how he plays, we could be talking about a completely different legacy. Klay is such an important piece to the Golden State dynasty. They are looked at as the best backcourt ever for a reason. And we are not about to ignore all the times that Klay Thompson stepped up when Steph Curry didn't. Game 6 in 2016 against OKC does not get talked about enough. When we talk about Game 6 Klay, this is what we mean. It was after they had just gone 73-9 in the regular season, and they were expected to dominate in the playoffs. And somehow, someway, they found themselves down 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals against the Oklahoma City Thunder. They fought back and won in Game 5, and in Game 6, Klay Thompson's legacy would change forever. Like, he was a different breed this game. He dropped 41 points, made 11 3-pointers, and he saved the Warriors season. When people think of Game 6 Klay, they think this is the only example, but this is far from the case. 2 years later, he dropped 35 against the Rockets in Game 7, and he shot 9 of 14 from 3. And this is when he was sharing the team with Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, and after this they went on to win the championship. And then just last year, after Dylan Brooks trash-talked the entire Golden State Warriors, Klay took this personally and channeled Game 6 Klay one more time, dropping another 30-piece in a win. But the fact that he can be a very clutch player for the Warriors, especially when people like Steph and Draymond don't show up, is a nod to how great he is. I've got him personally as the 3rd best 3-point shooter ever, behind Steph Curry and Ray Allen. And with all this being said, let's stop the Klay Thompson disrespect. If Klay can come back to himself again this season, and if the Warriors go for a 5th championship, expect people to start talking about Klay a little differently. What do you guys think? Has Klay Thompson gotten underrated or overrated? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, but That's all I've got for today. Thank you all for watching. And with that being said, I'm out of here, and I'll see you on the next one.